You can accomplish any goal that you set your mind to. You've got this.
Well, Happy New Year, wise guys and gals, and welcome to another edition of the Wise Eats podcast. I'm your host and former fat guy, Wes Wise, and I hope everybody's 2020 is off to a great start. I'm happy to report that my New Year's resolutions are going pretty good so far. I started off wanting to meditate daily and haven't missed a day yet. I've been doing about 10 minutes a day. Actually, this week I just started doing 15 minutes a day, so I'm kind of bumping it up as I go along. I'm following along with the Headspace app. You may have heard of that. There's a lot of different apps out there that you can use, but that's the one that I'm using, and I dig it. The guy's got a cool accent. Might be annoying to some people. But my other New Year's resolution is to drop down to 180 pounds, which is actually the lowest weight that I've probably ever been in my life. So that might be too lofty. I started at about close to 195. So I'm trying to get in the 180, 185 range. I think I'll be pretty cut up at that point. So that's my other New Year's resolution. That's going pretty good. Been cutting down on the overeating, which is a struggle coming out of the holidays. And I got some other New Year's resolutions, but we'll get into that another time. My guest today, I'm super excited about. It's Bryan Parady, who is the creator of bonestobulk.com. He has an inspiring story. He's a super cool guy, and he's trying to do some really good things in the health and fitness space. So we're going to get into all that. And if you're wanting to make a change and start a nutrition and workout program, I recommend checking out his website, bonestobulk.com. He's got a terrific podcast. Each episode is only 10 minutes, hits you with some info, and it's some great content for you to check out. And while you're at it, another great resource is wise-eats.com. Got a whole bunch of free articles about fat loss, muscle building, healthy recipes, workout programs, a whole bunch more. So definitely go check that out also. And let's get right to it. Without further ado, I present to you episode 19 and today's guest, Bryan Parady. It's time to wise up. So, first of all, just wanted to thank you for coming on. I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I've been excited to have you on because I've been enjoying the content that you're putting out there. Your podcast is awesome.
Thank you.
I love the 10-minute format is super cool. You know, you get in, you get out, there's no BS. You just deliver the goods.
Right.
And you get out of there, and it's high quality stuff.
Yeah. I was worried about that at first. Like, is 10 minutes enough? Are people going to, hate that? But it's what works for me, and it seemed to work pretty good, so...
Yeah, and it's it's not a huge commitment to get into,
right?
And I've probably in the past few weeks blown through about 50 episodes of it. And it's really high quality info too. It's great stuff.
I appreciate it.
So, but anyway, let's kind of start at the beginning and kind of tell me about how you originally became passionate about health and fitness and how that kind of led you into creating Bones to Bulk.
Sure. Okay. So I was about 2021. And I was not into fitness or health at all. I weighed 118 pounds. I was a tiny dude. And I don't know who even recommended I watch them, but somebody recommended I watch the Rocky movies. I'd never seen them, and I watched them. I absolutely loved them. And by the time, I think I binged them all in 1 week. And by the time I was done watching them, I was like, I want to be buff. I want to look like Sylvester Stallone. And so the very next day I went out to a sporting goods store. I bought a bench and some weights and set it up in my house and just went at it. I did every single thing wrong you can imagine, from lifting to nutrition to everything. I just had no clue what I was doing. And it was probably about 6 months in where I had been, consecutively lifting 4 or 5 days a week and saw just absolutely no progress. And I kind of came to a head. I was like, okay, I can either stop and figure out what in the world I'm doing, or I can give up. And so I was like, you know what, let's go all in. Let's try to figure this out. And that's when I really started researching and getting into the nutrition side and how to properly lift. And it was from that point that I began to start seeing change over the long term. So that was kind of like my intro to fitness, is the Rocky movies.
Yeah. Yeah. How old are you?
I am 34.
34. Okay, I'm 36.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was my biggest inspiration was Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
So Rocky 3, Thunderlips.
Right.
I was all about that.
Nice.
So yeah, we're kind of cut from the same cloth in that aspect.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
We have opposite kind of stories, but kind of similar. I was 90 pounds overweight when I first decided to make a change to my health, and like you said, I kind of was treading water, not really knowing what I was doing, and found a website that helped me initially. And that's kind of why I appreciate your stuff, because it reminds me of what I found 10 years ago that really inspired me to change my health.
Awesome.
And that's why I kind of want to point people towards your stuff and say, hey, if you're getting started with your fitness or you want to put on some muscle, this is a great resource to go to, because your content is spot on. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we all have that, that one thing that really kind of pushed us over the edge to really make a change.
Yeah, it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, everybody just needs that push.
Right.
So did you mention that before that you're a personal trainer as well?
I am. So let's see. I've been a certified personal trainer now for about 4 years. I just kept getting into it. About the same time that I first got certified, I was like, I'd love to do this outside of just me going to the gym and working out for myself. I just became more and more passionate about it, and so I was like, well, let me get that just so it puts a little bit of credentials behind my name. And that's kind of where the process of changing it from just for my own benefit to trying to help others kind of started. So that process started about 4 years ago.
And you're still actively doing that then, right?
I am, yes.
Okay. Roughly how many clients have you seen in that time?
It's hard to say because a lot of what I do is online and some of it is in group settings. So, I mean, as far as personally trained people, kind of one-on-one mentorship, I would say around 50. And then more in a group setting, it's been several hundred. So
yeah. What would be the biggest mistake that you see among fitness clients?
Nutrition is by far the biggest mistake. I think, especially when you're trying to gain. I think with weight loss, it's kind of it's still there's a lot of misinformation in that realm as well. But kind of initially you think, oh, I need a diet, and whereas with building muscle, I feel like the majority of people are like, I just need to drink protein shakes and get in the gym. And it's just simply not enough. So that's probably the number one misconception I see.
I'm actually going for my my CPT next month.
Oh, awesome.
And, I was wondering if you have any advice for aspiring certified personal trainers out there.
Just go into it like open-minded, ready to learn everything you can. Usually the agencies, I'm not sure who you're getting it through, but usually they provide really good study material as far as, getting it and passing it. And then from there, it's really a matter of taking what you know, because I feel like most people when they start to get their certified training, they've gone through the journey themselves. So it's not so much having a lot of the head knowledge, it's having that personal touch, of what you've been through that's really going to draw people to you rather than just the knowledge. Because, I mean, honestly, you can Google just about anything out there, but having someone who's actually lived the journey and walked through what you're trying to teach others, that adds so much to it, and really kind of dive into that aspect of it. Offer yourself, because people are going to be drawn to your story and your personality and what you have to offer.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That's been one of my selling points of this show that I'm doing, is that, hey, I'm not a personal trainer or an expert, but I've lost 90 pounds. I've, gotten in pretty good shape. And this is how I did it. And if I can do it, I know most people could probably do it.
Right. Yeah. And that's the best thing you can do right there, is just stem from that. So that's awesome.
Is there one piece of advice that you find yourself giving to beginners most frequently?
It's usually in regards to nutrition. And people are just, because a common misconception that I have when I started, people said, well, if you want to, get bigger, just eat more. It doesn't matter what you eat. And I ate a ton of junk food. Like, I would just down sleeves of Oreos at a time, ice cream, like you name it. I had a bad sweet tooth, and it didn't do anything to put muscle on me. And it's just because it's empty calories in. And so that mindset of, just dirty bulk and just eat whatever you want, that really doesn't do anything when you struggle to put on weight and muscle, because those calories aren't going to benefit you at all to build muscle. They're just kind of going in and going out. And so that's kind of where I start as far as trying to teach people nutrition. Like, it's not about just how much you eat, but you've got to be eating the right things along with the right quantities.
What about intermediate or advanced people then? What
I find
what
with
advice
that, it comes down to, because when you start to, make progress and get used to things, your progress slows a little bit. I'm sure, I don't know if it was the same for you with weight loss, but like kind of the initial weight comes off quick and then it slows down as you lose more and more.
Sure.
But kind of the same way with building muscle, you kind of hit a point where it starts to slow down. And so it's those fine tweaks, so and learning how to figure out those fine tweaks. A lot of what I find as I get to the more intermediate advanced is just small things like adding in extra healthy snacks, rather than, because usually by that point, meals are pretty on point and all that stuff. So it's making fine tweaks to the nutrition side, and it's really beginning to focus on your form in the gym and nailing that, and also slowing way down on your repetitions and kind of doing like a count as you lift and as you lower to make sure that you're giving that muscle the most time under tension you can.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced what you were just talking about with, I've lifted weights consistently for many years now, and obviously you get them gains, heavy in the beginning, and then it tapers off, and it becomes increasingly more difficult to maintain that and keep progressing. But
yeah,
one thing that I've taken away from one of your episodes was, the squeeze method.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard, a lot of people talk about, focusing on your form, and that's something I preach, obviously, all the time, is form before anything else.
Right.
But the squeeze method is something I never really implemented before, and it really forces you to kind of focus on your form, the mind-muscle connection. It forces you to, be more into the exercise that you're doing.
It really does. And, if you naturally just, like if I take my fist and I clench it, it's naturally putting more tension on the muscle and putting more blood flow to the muscle. And so as you do that, you're naturally engaging the muscle more. So, that squeeze method, if you're, let's say you're doing a barbell curl and you start just squeezing the crap out of that bar, especially kind of at the peak contraction point and then slowly lower,
Yep.
It's just, it's just building that tension up in the muscle, that blood flow, which is just going to lead to a better, stretch and all that with the muscle. So,
yeah, I've already noticed a huge difference doing that as far as not just the range of motion, the pump that I get, everything. It's improved a lot. I've had to decrease the weight on some of the movements I'm doing.
Yeah,
but it's a cool, 'cause sometimes you can go too much up in weight and your form starts to suffer a little bit, and then at that point you're risking injury, and that's the last thing anybody wants. So.
Yeah, and I feel like we tend to, especially once we get more advanced, we tend to focus too much on the numbers and hitting a new PR, and in reality, if you lift some absurd amount of weight on a PR but only get one rep out of it, that's doing less for you than if you would drop the weight some and pump out 10 really good form, slow reps that's just stretching you to the max. Because it's just increasing that time under tension. So yeah, that numbers game, it's hard. I've been guilty of it myself in the past, of kind of getting caught up in, how much is on the bar, how much am I lifting? So it's kind of a mind shift that we've got to go through.
Yep. And while we're talking about weight on the bar, what does your current training regimen look like?
So I recently switched it up back in, when did I switch? I guess beginning in December. So I'm only about a month and a half in. I'm doing a push-pull legs split. So I do 6 days a week, push-pull legs, push-pull legs. And I vary my exercises from the first half of the week to the last half. So some of them stay the same, but I'm also changing up some of the exercises from, the first half of the week to the second half of the week. So I found it to be really good overall strength. It's, hitting all your muscle groups twice a week, I feel like really makes a huge difference. So far, again, I'm early on in it, but so far I've really liked the results I've gotten from it.
What are your current fitness goals?
So my current fitness goals, 2019 was a rough year for me physically. I had several injuries. I pulled a bicep tendon. I was recovering from another arm injury, and then I got really sick towards the end of the year. So I feel like I finished 2019 not in the healthiest state. And so with 2020, I told my wife, I don't want it to be a repeat of that. I want to be much more aware of my body. We kind of talking about getting out of your head a little bit. It's very easy to get in that mindset, I can just push myself a little bit more, and kind of lose sight of that line of how much is too much and still being smart about it. And I feel like that line gets harder and harder the more you do this. And so this year I really am focusing on my overall health and avoiding injury and just really building back up my strength, because dealing with those injuries obviously caused me to have to lower a lot of the weight that I was lifting on a lot of arm exercises. So getting back from that point and really building up from there, that's kind of my main goal for 2020.
Is there anything specific you can point to that you're actually changing to make that improvement to your health?
Listening to my body more, and I know that sounds strange, but again, I feel like it's easy, at least for me, to just kind of go in automatic mode when I go in the gym. I've been doing it for so long that I just go in there and kind of go through the motions, but really on every single rep, okay, how am I feeling during this rep? Am I pushing myself enough? Am I pushing myself too much? How is my body responding? And really kind of evaluating after I leave the gym, how I feel, because there's different levels of soreness. Obviously, you're going to be sore if you leave the gym or the next day, but there's a level to where, okay, well, this soreness is a little bit beyond what normal muscle soreness is for me. So what did I do differently? How can I adjust that? That's kind of what it looks like on a day-to-day basis, me evaluating that.
All right. So going back to bones to bulk, you talk a lot in your episodes about your why, finding your why. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and thinking about, who exactly am I trying to help? And I think you really nailed your niche with, the muscle building, people that are striving to put on muscle. You seem to know your audience. So
right.
What would you say is your why for doing bones to bulk?
So, when I watched the Rocky movies, my why, I didn't have a why. I thought my why was, I just want to look good. And that can be an initiating, motivating factor, but that kind of fades very quickly. And so for me at this point, my why is kind of multifaceted. I want to be a good example to my audience at this point and kind of represent what I preach. So that's a big motivating why. Another one is I want to be a good example to my kids. I've got two daughters. They're 7 and 3, and it's funny though. I have a home gym that I work out sometimes in as well, and they'll come out there and they'll kind of lift dumbbells, and I'll show them some things. And my daughter is very conscious of what she eats, the older one anyway. And so I want to be a good example to them. I try not to force anything on them, because it's important, I feel like, for them to make their own decisions at this age, but also to lead a good example. And just by leading a good example, at least the older one, has made good decisions in different things. So those are probably my biggest two whys. And also, I always say that, I want to be one of those 80-year-old guys who's still crushing it in the gym.
Heck yeah. Amen.
So those three things are my main why for sure.
Yeah, I think being an example to your kids, obviously, and to others is huge. That's huge for me also.
Yeah.
And speaking of the kids, I'm like I said before, I'm really impressed with, working a full-time job, putting out this podcast, putting out all kinds of content on Instagram and, your Facebook groups and all that. How do you balance working that job, taking care of them kids, doing all that stuff?
It's hard. Two things: very strict time management and a lot of teamwork with my wife. My wife also, she works remotely for a company, so she works from home for them, and she also runs her own business. So she's extremely busy with her own work, and then I have my job and my fitness and kids. So, and then our own personal fitness. My wife's also very into fitness. She did like a half Ironman last year. So, finding time for that. It's a lot of planning. Every week we sit down and do an hour meeting. Usually it's Saturday mornings. We usually have like a family breakfast, and then we tell the kids, all right, go play for a little bit. Mommy and I have to have our meeting, and we hash out the week, like everything we have going on to stuff that the kids have going on, and we kind of mark down everything so we can plan out our entire week. Another thing we do is Saturday nights we put the kids to bed, and we work till the wee hours of the morning. We make a lot of coffee and just go at it and work on our businesses rather than just, binging a show on Netflix or something. So, it's definitely takes sacrificing. Like, we don't do a lot of fun stuff, but for us, getting to spend time on our own businesses and stuff is rewarding. So that is fun. So it's challenging. I'm not going to say that it's always easy, but it's definitely rewarding as well.
You have like a certain daily routine that you follow?
I do. I'm a little bit OCD, and I'm a very disciplined person. I like order, so my days are usually very, very much repetitive. Like, it's exactly this, like, from the time that I eat, what I eat, when I do everything. So, I mean, our day pretty much starts at 4 a.m. Not going to say that we're always perfect on that. Some days the alarm clock doesn't, or the snooze button wins that war, but we try to get up early. My wife goes to the gym in the morning, and then I spend time kind of reading and having a little bit of personal development time. Kind of, if I don't have some quiet time, then it's not going to happen any other time. Mm-hmm. As soon as she gets home, I leave for work. I go to work pretty early, and then once I get home, it's really just a matter of I change, get ready for the gym. I go pick up the kids, take them to the gym with me. The gym I go to has a daycare facility there, so take them with me and then bring them home. And by that time, it's, the wife and I will get dinner ready, and then we spend a couple hours with the girls. They go to bed, and then we usually have after that, maybe we go to bed pretty early since we're up so early. So we maybe usually have an hour and a half after they go to bed to either, some nights we're working on stuff, or some nights we'll just be like, hey, let's watch an episode of The Office or something and just talk a little bit. So that's kind of what an average day looks like for us. It's definitely nothing exciting, but it's good.
Yeah, I like routine. I have kind of a daily routine that I follow. It's not like, there are certain things that are musts first thing in the day, water.
Right, right.
I just started, my New Year's resolution is to meditate daily. So I've been doing 10 minutes of that.
That's awesome.
Every day in the morning. And, just certain, exercise every day, obviously. So certain things don't change at all. I think routine is critical.
Absolutely agree.
One more thing with the routine. I know things are a little bit different for you right now. We might get into that later, but what a normal diet day looks like for you?
Sure. So
on like a normal day.
Right. Yeah, because I don't know why, but I decided to go vegan for the month of January, so that's been interesting. But typical day. So breakfast will usually be something like oatmeal or granola with some fruit, like a banana and then maybe some berries. Mid-morning, I'll have tree nuts, so whether that's almonds or cashews or walnuts, pecans, something like that, and then probably another piece of fruit with it. Lunchtime is usually pasta and chicken and like a homemade tomato sauce with a little bit of olive oil on it. That's kind of lunch. So my lunch is pretty calorie heavy. I also discovered a protein pasta. It's made out of like soybeans, so to get even extra protein in with the chicken with that. So that's kind of my lunch. Afternoon snack varies quite a bit. Sometimes I'll do maybe a protein bar, or sometimes I'll do dates with peanut butter spread on them. So that kind of varies quite a bit, my afternoon snack. I feel like that's the thing that's not very consistent. It's just kind of whatever I feel like. Then I'm usually at the gym, and then I have my post workout shake. Then dinner can be a myriad of things. We do a lot of stir fries, so chicken, veggies over rice or quinoa. We do a lot of those. Things like turkey chili. We'll do tacos with beans, corn, chicken, or turkey, whole wheat tortillas, and then lots of veggies. And then usually snack is something like maybe toast with peanut butter and some banana slices on it, or maybe just a protein shake. So that kind of varies as well. But that's kind of like what a typical rundown of my day looks like.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I get questions all the time like, "Oh, what are you eating?" They, people look at me like an alien or something. And it's like, "Hey, I'm eating real food."
Yeah, it's nothing like crazy. It's just normal good food. So
it's real food is unusual to a lot of people.
That's very true.
But that's what we're here trying to change, right?
Right.
So getting low on time, so I did want to jump into some rapid fire, quick bites.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right, cool. What was the single biggest factor holding you back from starting your healthy lifestyle?
My mindset, just the my own self-doubt. I had a lot of self-esteem issues back then, and just dealing with a lot of kind of just getting out of my own head. I struggled a lot with that.
What is your favorite exercise routine or program?
I'm really enjoying the push-pull right now, but I also love breaking up muscle groups because I love chest and triceps day. Like, I feel like if I could do that every day, I would. But obviously that would work out very well. But yeah, I don't know. That's if I had to pick like one, if I was just going in the gym, like, hey, have a free day, I would do chest and triceps, hands down.
Absolutely. What's your favorite specific lift?
I would say bench press is definitely probably number one, but I also really enjoy, man, it's hard. There's so many. I really enjoy Arnold presses and standing overhead presses. Those are also some favorite ones I have.
What is your favorite, or do you have a favorite, either healthy recipe or muscle building recipe?
So something I really enjoy, and this is actually a newer one I just discovered, but it's basically like a chicken pasta. So you cook the spaghetti, and then you cook the chicken, so that stuff's kind of ready to go. Then in a big kind of frying pan, mix your pasta sauce in with like a cup of hummus. I dice like the little grape tomatoes, throw some spinach in there, some garlic, and some mushrooms. Mix all that in, let it saute a little bit, and then mix the pasta and the chicken in there and just let it cook for a few minutes. It sounds kind of weird with the hummus, but I don't know. It gives it like this creamy. It's really good.
No, I'm about to steal that and throw it up on my website.
Yeah, do it. And it's packed with really a lot of protein and a lot of good healthy carbs, so it's really healthy too.
Nice. What is your favorite unwise choice, food-wise?
That would have to be either pizza or like soft baked chocolate chip cookies. Those are two
Dang.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. Snack time.
Right.
Do you have a favorite recipe for success? Like a specific habit that keeps you on track or keeps you performing at your best?
That's a good one. I would say consistency, because it's so easy to get out of a habit. It's crazy. I feel like it takes, some time to build one. But if you get out of a habit just for a few days, it can really, I feel like it affects your mental state more than anything, because you start to be like, oh, well, I let it go for a couple days. I can let it go for a couple more. And before you know it, that ball just rolls downhill fast. And so just making sure that whatever you're doing, even if you're starting off small and only doing a few things, like maybe you're just giving up soda, or, maybe you're just going for a 30-minute walk, whatever you're doing, stay consistent with it. I think that's the key to everything.
What is one item in your kitchen you can't live without?
Ooh.
Could be food, utensil.
I would say food-wise, whole wheat pasta. Like I eat a lot of whole wheat pasta. I've my grandfather was full Italian, so I don't know if that's where I get it from. But I love some pasta. And then as far as cooking, a must t-fal pans. It's like T-fal are the most amazing cooking pans like ever. They're nothing sticks to them. They cook great. They're not that expensive. You can pick them up on Amazon for pretty cheap. So definitely my go-to for cooking.
Cool. That's an awesome one. What's your favorite source of inspiration? Whether it be a book, a podcast, Instagram page.
It's funny. I don't listen to a ton of podcasts because I listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I feel like that takes the place of that. But anything that's, man, I would say probably my biggest motivational source, especially over the last year, has been Gary Vaynerchuk. Anything he puts out, from his books to his YouTube channel. I have listened to some of his podcasts, but yeah, he gives me the kick in the pants I need whenever I'm like, okay, I need some motivation.
Any audiobooks that you recommend?
Man, a lot. I really enjoyed Bear Grylls wrote a book called Mud, Sweat, and Tears. And I don't know if you know who he is. He's kind of like the outdoor survivalist guy. He has like a TV show, but just his own personal journey and the demons he had to overcome. It's a really inspiring read, so I'd highly recommend that.
Okay, so what's your favorite thing to listen to when you work out?
I've got my playlist is always evolving. I always say, oh, I need to listen to podcasts or audiobooks when I work out, but it just never happens. I always have to go to my music. So I think some of the top bands in my playlist right now are Imagine Dragons. They're always a staple. I like Red, Skillet.
Yeah, Skillet. Yeah,
Icon for Hire. There's so many.
Yeah, I saw Skillet in concert, DT, out here in Clarkston, Michigan.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
A few years ago.
Awesome.
Oh, like Skillet. I feel like I don't even know anybody else that listens to them.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'll go into the gym listening to them.
Right.
But I get warmed up, and then, oh, yeah, I can't do it no more. I got to switch to the music.
Exactly.
Sure.
I'm the same way. Yep.
Is there one song you refuse to take off your list?
Yes, it's by Army of the Pharaohs, and oh my gosh, I can't think of the song title. Let me, I got my phone right here. But it's definitely the song. I've hit probably more personal bests on that song than any other song ever. But the song is called Spaz Out, and it's Army of the Pharaohs. I will warn you, it does have some explicit language in it, but yeah, that's definitely my I don't know, the one that has never come off my playlist.
All right, awesome. I'm going to check that out. Is there a healthy food that you find yourself recommending to clients most often?
I recommend quinoa a lot. I think quinoa is kind of just a very, I don't know, it kind of hides in the shadows when it comes to the healthy foods, but it's a great source of complex carbs and protein, and it goes with just about anything. So that's one I recommend a lot.
It's funny that you said that, because I've always known as quinoa as being something healthy that I need to get in, but it wasn't until I listened, like I said, I've been binging your show over the holidays and listened to, you mentioned quinoa and you said to mix it with salsa.
Yes.
And a couple of something else, and I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I did it, and we've been eating quinoa every day for the last like 10 days. So it's great. I love it now.
Yeah.
At first it was like, odd texture.
It is a little bit different, yeah.
But now we love it now.
Yeah.
It's going to be a staple.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome.
And very nutrient dense.
Yes, very.
One last piece of advice for listeners looking to improve their health and fitness.
Yeah, don't feel that you have to have everything together before you start. I know for me personally, when I start a project, I want everything figured out before I ever start it. And that's usually so detrimental to starting, because in all honesty, we're never going to have it all figured out before we start, because we learn so much as we go. So take what you do know, even if that's a very limited amount, and just start applying that. And you'll be amazed at how once you start, things begin to snowball, and you'll begin to learn new things, and it'll also give you the confidence to just keep growing and keep learning. And that's kind of another, like, don't ever think you've arrived or made it. Like, there's always more to learn, in not only in fitness but in anything. So yeah, that would probably be it.
Awesome. Very well said. Words of wisdom right there. I guess one last thing. What's your New Year's resolution?
So
We're about halfway through January already.
My resolutions usually consist of a lot of things, both are fitness related and non-fitness related. So I've got a lot of kind of personal things as far as being with my relationship with my wife and my kids and finances and all that. And then, but physically, again, I really want to finish, like I said, I want to feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been in at the end of 2020. And for me, that means really nailing down my nutrition even more so, because I feel like nutrition is the staple to everything. So cutting out just even a few of the things that I've kept in that aren't the healthiest, getting those to go, and then really pushing myself, but in a very healthy manner in the gym. So that's kind of my big pushes for 2020 with my fitness.
I thought your New Year's resolution was to go vegan.
Well, that was too. That was my short-term resolution. Yeah, I did decide to do vegan for the month of January, and I was surprised at how much positive feedback I received from that, because I preach all the time that diets don't work, and I don't like all the fads that come out, and so I really felt like vegan wasn't that, because I can still control all my macros. I don't have to limit anything when it comes to that. And I just feel like it's opened my eyes just in the 2 weeks I've been doing it to be a better trainer, to understand it better. So if I take nothing else from it, it's to just expand my own knowledge base. And also I've learned some kind of cool new recipes to implement as well. So
yeah, awesome. I think it's a great idea. I can't wait to hear your experience with it, because it's something I've thought about. I think it's it's a good thing to try out, for various reasons. I don't know about the ideology associated with it.
Right.
People get crazy over it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excellent. I'm definitely wanting to know, how it affects your workouts and all that. So looking forward to you sharing that.
Yeah, I'll definitely be doing a recap on that in the beginning of February. So I'm looking forward to it myself. I'm interested to see all the changes. So it'd be good.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I've kept you long enough. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking with us. Do you want to plug your social media, your website, and your program?
Sure. So you can find me anywhere at Bones to Bulk, bonestobulk.com. All my stuff's on there, links to all my other platforms, but pretty much any social media site you can find me at Bones to Bulk.
It's, like I said earlier, this is exactly the type of content that I found 10 years ago that really jump-started my health and fitness journey. So I strongly encourage anybody to go check out bonestobulk.com. Check Bryan Parady out. He's the man. So thanks again for coming on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been an honor.
Oh, maybe you should send them out. I love what you say at the end of your episodes, if you don't mind, if you haven't forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely. No matter what obstacles are in your mind, what things are stressing you out or you feel like you just can't overcome, you can accomplish any goal that you set your mind to. You've got this.
Yes. And on that note, make wise choices.
That's right. I like that.